hit chest today. Can y'all tell? Anyway, on to the video. I'm about to tell you a story. It's a short story, don't worry. One of my coworkers came up to me one day and he's like, Dylan, you got any suggestions on what I should get to eat tonight? And I'm like, I don't know, man. What are you thinking about? And he's like, Whataburger sounds pretty good. And a few hours before that in pre-shift, we were talking about goals. That was my manager's topic of discussion. And he had already said that one of his goals was to become an engineer. I think he said an electrical engineer. Anyway, that's besides the point. So I asked him if he had any other goals, and he said rock climbing. He wants to be a rock climber. So I looked at him and I was like, Diego, does getting a Whataburger align with that goal of you becoming a rock climber? And then he went on to say, you know what, Dylan, you're right. I got food at the house. I got better options at the house. I'm gonna eat at home. So just take a moment, look around, look at your schedule, look at your life as a whole, and ask yourself, does what I'm doing right now align with what I want to be in the future? Does sleeping till noon, eating whatever you want, doing whatever, going out and partying, drinking, does that align with what you want to be in the future? Would you imagine yourself 10 years from now? Are all of those things leading up to you becoming that? I don't think so. I mean, I'll tell you another short story. When I was probably 12, 13, 14, I wanted to be a professional gamer. I loved video games. I still do. Don't really have time to play them as much. But I used to play for 8 hours, 10 hours a day. And I thought that just doing that is what it would take to be a professional gamer. But now that I'm older, parents, listen up. If you have a kid that wants to be a professional gamer, if all they do is just play the game 8 hours a day, that is not what it takes. That is not what it takes. Look at any professional gamer. Now that I'm older, I realize that every day when they wake up, they have a specific goal, something that they're practicing at, a specific part that they need to improve on. They look objectively at their performance on the game instead of, I logged 8 hours. They do more than that. Instead of just logging the hours, they are using them to improve on a skill that they know they need to improve on in order to become a professional. Because I have you know this right now. Anybody who says that practice makes perfect, that is wrong. Practice does not make perfect. Practice makes permanence. So if you practice just playing 8 hours a day, it's going to become permanent. That's just it. It's about how you practice. And come to think of it, when I was a kid, I wasn't practicing. I was just playing a video game 8 hours a day. And professional gamers, you know, I've come to realize this, a lot of them are actually in shape. It seems a little ironic that somebody who plays video games professionally, a lot of them are in shape. Why is that? Well, if you gotta be in the right headspace in order to do all the crazy stuff that they do on their game. You know, when I was pursuing a professional gaming career, my diet was of no concern, you know? And I didn't even think about how my diet was making me feel. You know, I'm on the game, my blood sugar's probably going freaking crazy because I just crushed some McDonald's. I probably don't feel too good, but I didn't even realize it. All I knew was, oh, I'm hungry, let's see some food and good playing so I get better. But that's not what it takes. Look around. Are you doing what it takes to get to where you want to be? Truly ask yourself. Now, if you answered no and you don't know where to start, like I always say, start small. Start small. I didn't come out the rip on my weight loss journey with the food scale, tracking macros, hitting my protein, going to the gym every day. Y'all want to know how I started? There was 3 things that I knew. I was like, if I stay in a calorie deficit, I'll lose weight, and if I lift heavy objects, my muscles will get bigger and I will become stronger. Those are the two things that I started with. That's it. Actually, I didn't even start with working out. All I did was my first month, all I did was put myself in a calorie deficit. That's all I focused on. And then, once I started seeing results, I was like, wow, this is cool. I freaking love this. This is amazing. And then I was like, okay, what if we start lifting some heavy objects, doing some training, making it to where I can look like this when I finally lose the weight. So I didn't have a gym membership. 19-year-old me was also broke. Gym memberships around me were like $50. So I had these concrete blocks in my backyard that made a fire pit, and they probably weighed like 70 pounds. And all I would do is I would pick up the block just like this, and I would just walk back and forth with it. And then if I got bored of that, what I would do is I would just take the block and act like it was shot put. I would freaking just see how far I can throw the block. Freaking caveman training. I would still do it to this day. I just don't live at the house where the blocks are anymore, and I now have access to a gym with a bunch of other cool stuff. But that's how I started. Don't tell me or anybody or yourself that you are missing something in order to start doing what you want to do. Going back to Diego's example, he wants to be a rock climber. I don't think he has a membership at a rock climbing gym, but that shouldn't hold you back. You're still a rock climber. You're just a rock climber who doesn't have access to a rock climbing wall. So, if you're a rock climber who doesn't have access to a rock climbing wall, what would you do to get better at rock climbing? I'll tell you what I would do. Rock climbers mainly focus on pulling themselves up, having strong fingers, strong grip strength. So there's millions of ways. Just look up on YouTube on how to do that. How to improve your grip strength, how to get better at rock climbing without the wall, and then get started. Whether you want to just hold on to weights like this, do a bunch of pull-ups, see how long you can dead hang, all of those are perfect options to get started. All of those align with my example. It's the same thing. Same mentality. I started out just lifting blocks. If you want to be a rock climber, just start out by practicing your grip strength. That way when you do get to a rock climbing wall, you're like, I've already been training for this. I'm ready. I can dead hang for 4 minutes. I can hang on this hold all day long. Long story short, take a good look around at your life. Take a look at that full sugar soda that you're holding. Just take a look at it, turn it around, or whatever, if you are. Just take a look around. Be in touch with your reality for just a moment and ask yourself, does it align with what I want to be in the future? And if you're somebody who doesn't know what they want to be in the future, start thinking about it. The best time to plant a tree was 10 years ago, but the next best time is now. I heard that from Sam Sulek. I learned a lot of good tricks from him on this journey. So if you're watching my videos and you've never seen his, even if you're not into fitness, I'd go watch him. He's got some pretty good content. All right, but just something to think about. I'll be back.